CIA is not allowed to spy on Americans in the United States. They also do not have investigative powers. In my knowledge, there's no precedent ever of the CIA spying on the Senate. This is a very disturbing component of CIA's history, recent history, under this president. I have never spoken on the record about this program and about the investigation.
A small number of suspected terrorist leaders and operatives captured during the war have been held and questioned in a separate program operated by the Central Intelligence Agency.
The whole issue of interrogations, detentions, I don't believe that anybody is above the law. On the other hand, I also have a belief that we need to look forward.
Majid Khan was subjected to involuntary rectal feeding and rectal hydration.
What was done here apparently certainly was not one of the techniques that was approved. I believe it was done for medical reasons.
The coercive techniques used by the CIA during that time frame were, quote, not consistent with our values. I've got some deep concerns about how the CIA has interacted with this committee.
Prior to becoming an employee with the Senate Intelligence Committee, I knew what most others knew about the CIA's detention interrogation program, basically from what I had read in the newspapers. The CIA briefed the president that this was an absolutely essential program, that if you were to remove their ability to use what they called enhanced interrogation techniques, that Americans would die. This included waterboarding, prolonged standing sleep deprivation, walling, slapping, confinement boxes, big and small. The CIA did not have any expertise in using these techniques whatsoever. In fact, the CIA had historically found and had testified to Congress that these techniques don't work. The committee itself didn't learn about really what these techniques were until after the destruction of CIA's videotapes came to light. That allowed the committee to obtain access to CIA cables. And in those cables, we found that the CIA program was nothing like how it had been described publicly or behind closed doors. The CIA provided us with a basement room in one of their off-site buildings. We had requested a computer network that was not entangled with the CIA's network to ensure the integrity of the investigation. Anything on our system, which we were told many times was a closed system, was ours. The first thing that stood out to me about the Panetta Review was these were actually summary documents. This was somebody doing the work that we were doing. And it concludes the CIA misrepresented the success of the program to the President of the United States, the Congress, and the United States people. The CIA has a history of destroying documents, destroying its own records. And this was a record that was so incongruent with the CIA's response that they gave to us, we felt a need to preserve it. To preserve that document, which we only had at the CIA offsite, we decided to bring back a portion of that document to the Senate Intelligence Committee. The night I relocated the Panetta Review from the offsite in Virginia to the Senate Hart building was like any other night at the offsite. And once I had secured the document in a secure bag, and once it had driven from Virginia to Capitol Hill and put it in my safe, there was a tremendous sense of relief. The committee first learned that the CIA had conducted a, quote, search of Senate staff's computers from John Brennan himself. And then Director Brennan announced that he was doing a far deeper review and investigation into the activities of Senate staff. I think the CIA has serious credibility issues. In my view, they misled President Bush and his leadership team. They've led President Obama and his leadership team. I fear that if we were to look at other programs, we would also see internal documents that don't match up with external representations.